All right, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, children of all ages, fellow Pandemonium travelers, this is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown, day 408 by my count. And we've got, likely we've got riots incoming. So what's going on? What's going down? Well, quite frankly, as you can see right now, it has been a beautiful couple weeks here in the Pacific Northwest. More sunshine than you can shake a stick at. I actually don't necessarily know what that means. It means there's a lot of sunshine. What's going down, though? We've got, they're talking about us going back to phase 2 because there's spike in coronavirus cases and God, nonsense. There's political power brokering nonsense going on. Anyways, what's that? George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, the state versus Mr. Chauvin. Officer Chauvin? Is he still an officer, even though he's not an officer anymore? He's not an officer anymore, right? Everyone is expecting that there will be rioting regardless of the outcome of the trial there in Minneapolis. And I tend to agree, not agree with the rioting, but I tend to agree with, the assessment that there will be rioting. And so they're entering final arguments in the jury trial. And I heard some mixed kind of interpretations of the defense attorney. I saw a clip of him talking about chocolate chip cookies or something. The chocolate chip cookie recipe, and if you don't have all of the elements of the chocolate chip cookie recipe, then you don't get chocolate chip cookies. I get it as an argument against the jury making an assessment. So, murder 2, that's murder in the second degree, is like Chauvin was like, he left the house that day and was like, man, if I come across that George Floyd guy, I'm gonna kill him. If he didn't leave the house with the intention of killing him, that would be murder 1, right? That's my understanding. But what you're saying is that he was like, well, I ran across the guy and I didn't like him, so I killed him. That's weird too, because he got called to come to the scene of the crime, the scene where everything played out. So that doesn't really wash, he didn't intend to kill George Floyd. And they have the arguments, of course, that George Floyd had COVID, he had pre-existing hypertension and heart conditions, and he swallowed drugs, and he swallowed amphetamine, or in his system post the autopsy was that he had fentanyl and methamphetamine in his system. So that's a stimulant and a suppressant, or a depressant. And so that's an upper and a downer. You mix those together, it can cause heart failure, which is why we banned 4 Loko. Remember 4 Loko? Google it, kids. It was a alcohol and caffeine based. Are you going to change lanes or not? Oh, God in heaven. It's like some old hippie. We banned 4 Loko because, I'm going to say kids. It probably wasn't 40-year-olds. We're like chugging these big tall boys of caffeine, alcohol mixture, booze, and blacking out. They called them blackout parties. And then they would die of heart failure, right? So, yeah, there's a factor. So, factor. Then you have to add up to intent, right? And like the intent matters, of course, in at least the sense that Murder 2 carries an implication that Chauvin wanted to kill somebody, as opposed to possibly negligence, which is not Murder 2. That's like crashing into someone in traffic and you kill them. Were you intoxicated? No. Were they braking inappropriately? Maybe. Were you going too fast? Right? Like, intent matters because in terms of things like murder and stuff, it matters whether or not you are a murderer and that you will then murder again, right? So in this instance, Chauvin's probably going to walk on Murder 2. Why? Like, not because he didn't kill George Floyd. I mean, he may have directly caused George Floyd's death, but that's not Murder 2. And it's very important that people understand this. I mean, I don't think that they will. I think that we're going to just riot and people are going to be mad. Because all the defense has to do is make a case for reasonable doubt. Okay? Reasonable doubt means you go, well, I just don't think he intended to murder somebody. That's all it is. That's all it takes is, no, he didn't set out to kill George Floyd. That was not his intention. And all you have to do is say, George Floyd was having a sort of an episode after committing a crime. Oh my goodness, you're so crooked. You've been crooked this whole time, guys. I'm sorry. He was basically resisting arrest at the point where he like kicked the officer and was being hysterical and, you know, and with the drugs in his system. And again, he had COVID. I don't know how much you can assess that the COVID was an issue. But all these other factors added in, and then you go, oh, well, it was also department policy to use the restraints that Chauvin and the other officers were using. Okay. Probably used all the time on people all over the country, and they don't die. So that's all you need is, no, they didn't intend to kill this guy, therefore Murder 2 off the table, therefore the media, and I think it was Timcast pointed this out, that, man, Serious Pie and Biscuit, gone. Decent enough place, man. Decent enough. Reasonable doubt gets introduced, and all it takes is one juror to not vote guilty, and then you get the media saying acquitted of murder, and then you get rioting because we all saw Chauvin murder George Floyd on tape, quote unquote, right? That's not quite what happened. We all saw a snuff film that we all sent to each other ad nauseum, and the result was nationwide rioting. Oftentimes, a lot of times by white people being angry at police. Not because the police kill white people a lot, but because, oh man, the for lease signs, you guys. Oh my goodness. For lease. For lease to who? Oh my god. Oh, that was the like ballet studio. Man, there was always like pretty girls doing ballet in there. Now it's gone. Well, them's the breaks. But yeah, that's all it's gonna take to get rioting, and I get it. We're all in the struggle together, #resistance or whatever, but people here in Seattle rioting against our police because the police in Minneapolis did something wrong. So you destroy the Amazon Go store here, or the Starbucks, which I've documented. Okay, guys. Okay. Sure thing. Makes no sense. But okay. So that's what's kind of going to happen. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And what happens is the jury says what they believe is, I don't want Derek Chauvin to go to prison if he's actually, this gets tricky, quote unquote, actually not responsible for the death of George Floyd. Because an angry mob forcing the jury out of fear and intimidation to go, oh yeah, he's guilty, oh, don't burn anything down, don't destroy the place because we're scared. That's not justice either, guys. That's mob rule, and that's not acceptable. We can't have that. We maybe already do have that, but you know, I mean, a sort of inversion of the murder of Emmett Till isn't justice. It's revenge, which many people have said that this whole thing, all this kind of stuff isn't really about justice. It is just about revenge for racial grievances of various kinds, which, okay, that's a dark game. I don't really want to play that game, but we might already be in it, so it's not really up to me. All kinds of things are not up to me, as you can tell. I'm just getting dragged along with the rest of yous, and somehow powers that be keep managing to cause these like mass movements of people and you know, this sort of social political movements, culture wars, all this stuff just keeps happening, and it's not, you know, because I would like that to be the thing that we're doing. It's just, I mean, I got Kim.com to follow me on Twitter today by just repeating one of my old tweets about how the world and everything in it could be better in every conceivable way or inconceivable way. But instead, we've chosen to do whatever this is. And by this, of course, I mean this paradigm, this thing. Like, we could love each other more, trust each other more, care for each other more, make more, provide more for each other, clean up the streets, build, you know, families and relationships and businesses, and, you know, provide value to one another and have world peace and plenty. But instead, I guess this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fight with China. We're gonna fight with Russia. We're gonna, as Americans, I guess we're gonna fight with each other. We're gonna shred the Constitution, destroy small businesses, turn a blind eye to community collapse and urban blight, and just move forward with the paradigm that this is all okay and fine, and there's no better way. There's no other path to having happier, healthier, smarter, you know, more engaged citizens and communities, and, you know, higher trust, more trust and compassion for one another. We're not doing that, you know? We aren't doing that. We're doing fear and hatred and paranoia and, again, revenge and yeah, bitterness and power politics. Ugh. It's enough to drive one to drink. So if you're already drinking, you're ahead of the curve. All right, that's enough from me for one day. I will talk to yous guys later. It's Monday. Bye.